In the financial market, price can be painted, but volume is very difficult to hide. Welcome, everyone, to episode 11. Today, we are talking about the weapon that sharks hate most when you understand it. If you have ever bought at the exact peak, or sold at the exact bottom, then most likely you were looking at the wrong thing, at the price. And forgot the most important element, trading volume. Listen to volume. The same way you listen to your own heartbeat. Price can lie. News can be staged. Crowd emotions can be manipulated. But cash flow does not know how to lie. Volume, the most powerful, divine tool of the market. Imagine walking in a dark room. Hundreds of matrix screens stacked on top of each other. Squiggly price lines constantly shifting. Amidst all that chaos, volume bars glow like electricity, running through the entire body of the market. In the financial market, the thing you see the most is actually the thing that is easiest to be deceived by: price. Price is just a mask. It can be painted by algorithms, by AI, by hands large enough to make the crowd believe that everything is moving in a certain direction. Market makers can create brilliant green candles to stimulate greed. They can also create terrifying red candles to sow fear, forcing you to leave the game. But there is one thing they find very difficult to hide for a long time. That thing is volume, trading volume. Consider volume as the blood, and price as just the corpse. A corpse can be pulled by strings to move for a moment. But if the blood has run dry, it is just a body that is gradually dying. When price still rises but volume no longer supports it, that is not life, it is an illusion of motion. Volume tells you the only important thing in the market, where the real cash flow is. You don't need to be a mathematical genius. You don't need dozens of complex indicators. Just by looking at the volume bars, you can see the footprints of the giant, where the big money enters, and where the big money withdraws. When volume spikes, the market never stands still. Either an uprising is beginning, or a massacre is about to take place. Volume is the drumbeat signaling the battle. Anyone who does not monitor volume is like walking at night without a light on a financial abyss. Most traders lose because they look at the wrong place. They glue their eyes to the dancing electric board, to the constantly changing green and red colors, but forget to look at the thickness of the cash flow. Price can lie to you every minute, but volume cannot. It reflects the real decisions of those who are putting real money into the game. If you understand volume, you will no longer be swept away by the emotions of the crowd. You will know when the market is being nourished, and when it is just being set up as bait. This is not a miracle. This is the essence. Volume does not help you win every trade, but it helps you avoid most of the most painful deceptions. In a game where 90% of participants must pay tuition, the ability to see real cash flow is the survival advantage. If you want to possess eyes that see through the market, start here, not from a high-level strategy, but from understanding how the blood is flowing. Leave a like to activate the predator mindset. Subscribe to the channel, because from this episode onwards, we will step into areas of knowledge that the sharks never want you to understand clearly. Remember this one thing: price is just the mask. Volume is the truth. AI algorithms can paint brilliant green candles to create a false sense of wealth, or terrifying red candles to kick retail investors out of the game. But there is one thing the house finds very hard to hide, and that is volume. Consider volume as the blood, and price as just the corpse. If the corpse is still moving, but the blood has run dry, then that is not life, but a corpse being pulled by strings. Volume is the most powerful, divine tool, because it shows whether real money is entering or withdrawing. You don't need to be a mathematical genius. Just look at the thickness of the volume bars, and you will see the footprints of the giant. When volume spikes, that is when a massacre, or an uprising is about to begin. A person who does not monitor volume is like walking at night without a light on a financial abyss. Don't look at the dancing electric board. Look at the cash flow. Do you want eyes that see through every deception? Leave a like to activate your own hunter mindset, and subscribe to the channel now, because in the next episode, we will talk about the most dangerous peak signal that 90% of investors ignore. If I only showed you a single indicator, To survive in this market, it wouldn't be RSI. It wouldn't be MACD. It would be volume. However, from a different perspective. Without understanding volume, you are only looking at the corpse of the market and not seeing the blood flowing inside. When price rises but volume decreases, the hiccup of recession. Episode 12. Like a plane trying to fly high. In the sky, it is still above the clouds. But behind it, the engine has died, black smoke puffing out with every beat. Below, the crowd still cheers, still believing that this flight is succeeding. Throughout my trading journey, this is the deadliest trap that I had to pay for with a lot of money and time to realize. Price increases, but volume decreases. On the outside, everything looks perfect. Price constantly breaks peaks. Green candles follow one another. Excitement spreads quickly in groups. In confident comments saying, "This time is different." The trend has formed. But if you take the trouble to look down below, at the volume bars, you will see a very terrifying detail. The trading volume is steadily getting shorter. So what does that mean? It means the sharks have stopped pumping money. Big money, the only thing that can push the price far and sustainably, is no longer participating. The upward momentum you see right now is not true growth, but just inertia. The inertia of retail investors FOMOing each other. Buying for fear of missing out. Buying because they believe in the green color on the board, not because big money is leading the way. Imagine it like this. It is a car that has run out of gas but is still coasting on the crest of a hill. For a few moments, it still seems to be moving forward. But in reality, just a light breeze, or a small touch, and it will plunge straight into the abyss. And when it falls very fast, giving no one a chance to react. Therefore, if you detect the phenomenon of price increasing but volume decreasing, please engrave one thing in your heart: never buy more. Traders don't lose money because they miss an opportunity. Traders lose money because they try to participate in upward moves that have run out of blood. In this state, the wisest action is not to buy, but to prepare to sell, to wait to buy back at much cheaper prices. On the contrary, when the price is falling and selling volume spikes, it shows that cash flow is fleeing in panic. Price will then fall even deeper, until the red blood is completely exhausted, until the weakest hands have been eliminated from the game. Don't let the illusion of prosperity deceive you. Don't believe in glamorous green candles. Believe in the dry numbers of volume, because that is where the truth does not know how to lie. Whoever can read volume hears the true whisper of the market. You see volume increasing crazily, but the price stands still? That is not strength. It is the confession of someone dumping goods. High volume but price doesn't budge, run immediately. Welcome, everyone, to episode 13. Today, I will show you the sign of a real peak establishment that most investors only realize after they have lost money. This is the ultimate code that sharks and AI often use to sell goods to the crowd in the smoothest way possible. High volume but price doesn't rise, the confession of the exiter. Have you ever seen a crowd putting all their strength into pushing a giant boulder? They strain, they scream, sweat pours down, the pushing force is enormous. But the boulder stands still, not moving even a single centimeter. In the financial market, there is a signal that when you see it, you are not allowed to hesitate. Volume increases very high, but the price cannot rise further. This is not a coincidence. This is an ultimate code that sharks and algorithms often use to exit their positions in silence. The first question many people ask is, with such strong buying pressure, why does the price stand still? The answer is actually very simple, but also very cruel, because at that price level, the house is dumping exactly the same amount that the market is buying. However, many buy orders appear, that many sell orders are released to absorb them completely. What are you seeing? You are seeing a perfect distribution. The crowd thinks they are pushing the price up, but in reality, they are doing the house a favor, holding the bags for them. High volume is not always good. When volume reaches an extreme level but the price cannot establish a new peak, that is exactly the sign that the real peak is being set. Remember this: if the market is truly still healthy, the price must react to such a large amount of volume. The fact that the price stands still reveals a bitter truth. all buying power has been neutralized. The sharks no longer have the need to push the price, because their bags are gradually becoming empty. After this stage, what will happen? The market will collapse brutally. Why? Because the buying power has been completely consumed during the distribution process. When there are no longer new buyers strong enough to absorb the remaining sell volume, the price will free fall. And when the price starts to fall, those who just bought at the peak will become the next source of panic selling. If you see green volume still high but no longer increasing, while the price has stalled, please understand, this is not accumulation. It is an exit. This is the time you must run as fast as possible. Don't try to be smarter than the market. Don't stay behind to clean up the trash for someone else's party. Trading is not about trying to stay until the last minute. Trading is knowing when to retreat at the right time. A truly wealthy person is not the one who earns the most during an uptrend, but the one who does not let their assets evaporate when the game ends. By understanding the nature of volume, you not only read the market but also read the intention of the one behind the wheel. And that is the survival advantage in this game. Observe this situation. Volume increases extremely high. Buy orders rush in, but the price cannot increase even a single centimeter. The question is, why is the buying pressure so strong, yet the price stands still? The answer is very simple. Because at that exact price level, the sharks are dumping goods in equivalent volume. However many of your buy orders come in, the house sells that many to absorb it all. This is not accumulation. This is distribution in silence. When volume reaches its extreme peak, but the price cannot establish a new peak, that is the real peak. After this moment, the market has no reason left to hold the price. Buying power has run dry. The house's bags are empty. And when they let go, the collapse is inevitable. Believe me, when green volume is no longer increasing, while the price has stalled, that is when you must run as fast as possible. Don't stay behind to clean up the trash for someone else's party. A surviving investor is not the one who wins every trade, but the one who knows how to withdraw at the right time. If this video helps you avoid a crash, leave a like. Next episode, we will elevate our thinking to a completely different level. You can be right in your analysis, but still lose money, because you are only looking at a single tree, and not looking at the whole forest. Welcome, everyone, to episode 14. Today, we will learn how to read the entire battlefield, instead of fighting blindly in a small corner. This is macro thinking, something that retail investors almost always ignore. Reading the overall picture, the power of CoinMarketCap and BTC. The entire market is like a giant military chessboard spread across the world map. On it are not chess pieces, but cash flows. A person standing high above doesn't look at individual pieces, but looks at the entire battle formation before ordering a move. The biggest mistake of most traders is trading like a blindfolded person, staring only at one ticker, one time frame, one very small corner of the market. You can be right in the details, but wrong in the overall picture. And the market doesn't pay people who look close, it pays people who look far. To survive and go the long distance, you must learn how to read the entire market, not just a single asset. The tools here are not high level at all. They are right in front of your eyes. CoinMarketCap, or market index boards. Start with the most core thing, total market volume. When you see the 24-hour trading volume of the entire market increase significantly, it shows that cash flow is truly returning. Money doesn't lie. It only goes to where it feels safe and has the opportunity to multiply. Next is Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin is not just a coin. It is the big brother, the backbone of the entire crypto market. When BTC dominance increases, especially while BTC is moving sideways or increasing steadily, it is a sign that big money is controlling the game. If the big brother is healthy, the altcoins then have room to breathe and an opportunity to increase later. Conversely, if you see BTC is weak and dominance is decreasing while total volume is not improving, please be cautious. That is usually a stage where money is withdrawing from the market, or only rotating in the short term to create an illusion of activity. In such times, Trying to trade individual small tickers is like swimming in a whirlpool. This principle is not only true for crypto. In stocks, you just need to replace BTC with the group of pillar stocks, 5 to 7 tickers that lead the market. If these pillars are still healthy, the index still stands firm. But if the pillars break, the entire stage will collapse, regardless of how many stocks below are slightly green. AI and algorithms can manipulate one ticker, even a small group, but manipulating the entire global index for a long time is extremely difficult. That is why a macro view helps you avoid many traps. Many fake rallies created to lure retail cash flow. Don't try to remember too many indicators. Don't turn yourself into a slave of the screen. Feel the cash flow. When you go with the market, go with the overall picture. You don't need to guess. You just need to follow. A great fortress is not built in a day. It is made from individual small bricks, stacked in an orderly fashion. This series is the same. If you are patient enough to go through 90 episodes, today's foundations will burst into real advantages in the later episodes. Never trade like a blind person looking only at one corner of the yard. Look at the overall market. In crypto, the most divine tool is CoinMarketCap and BTC dominance. If you see total market volume increasing, 24H trading increasing, BTC dominance is green, then it is almost certain the market will be green in the short term. Because Bitcoin is the big brother. The big brother is healthy. New blood flows. And the altcoins have a chance to thrive. Conversely, if BTC is weak, don't ask why altcoins are dying. It's the same in stocks. Replace BTC with 5 to 7 pillar tickers that lead the market. As soon as the pillars break, the entire stage will collapse. AI can manipulate one ticker, but it is very hard to manipulate the entire global index. For a long time. That is the reason investors who survive long always look from above. You don't need to try to remember. Just feel it. A 90-episode journey is not to get rich quick, but to build a foundation of thinking. The greatness of a fortress always begins with each small brick. Whether the market rises or falls, volume always tells the truth. What sharks fear most is when you look at this. When volume and price converge, the moment the real monster wakes up. Episode 15. Looking at the overall market from the dark depths of the ocean. A giant monster emerges. Every step it takes makes the ground tremble. Surrounding it are massive swirls of swirling energy. No more silence. No more hiding. What is waking up is the true power of the market. After all the traps we talked about in the previous episodes, this is the most powerful and clearest state the market can display. Price increases accompanied by increasing volume. This is called a valid movement. It shows that real cash flow is participating. And more importantly, it shows convergence between the sharks and the crowd. When volume increases steadily, when every upward price move is backed by larger trading volume, it means the market is no longer acting. It is following its true nature. The blood is flowing strongly. And the corpse, the price, is truly being nourished. In such periods, following the trend is not reckless, it is following the natural flow. However, never forget, even the strongest monster gets tired. Volume cannot increase forever. When you start to see the volume bars stalling, or forming structures like flat tops or shoulders, that is the sign that resources are reaching their limit. The market won't collapse immediately at this point, but it needs a break. Professional traders don't wait until the monster collapses to act. They prepare their scenarios. They sell in parts when strength begins to wane, to be ready to buy back at better price zones when the market corrects. This is not running away, it is managing the game. Whether the market rises or falls, always remember one thing. Volume is the voice of truth. Price can be manipulated in the short term, but volume reflects what the real cash flow is doing. Listening to volume is like listening to the heartbeat of the market. When the heart beats strongly, the market lives. When the heart weakens, risk begins to appear. If you truly understand volume, you hold 80% of the winning chance in the volatile trading era ahead. Not because you guessed right, but because you went with the cash flow. with the thing that cannot be faked for long. We have painstakingly condensed these things not to create a sense of superiority, but so that you no longer have to be as tragic as many people out there, those who are swept away by emotions, by the illusion of prosperity, and by repeated deceptions. A wealthy soul is a soul that knows how to observe, how to wait, and how to withdraw at the right time. If you understand volume, you hold 80% of the winning chance. In the volatile financial era ahead, we do not share these things to show off knowledge. We condense it so that you no longer have to be tragic, like those who only know how to chase the electric board. A wealthy soul is a soul that looks at cash flow, not illusions. If you find yourself change after this video series, subscribe to the channel so we don't lose each other. In the real battles of the market, we don't teach how to get rich quick. We teach how to read cash flow. Price can lie. Volume cannot. Welcome to the world of those who drive the algorithms. If you hear this closing statement and are still thinking, you are no longer the crowd. Memorable quotes. 1. University teaches you how to give the right answers to questions that are already dead. 2. Sharks sacrifice short-term profits in exchange for the long-term blindness of the crowd. 3. Do not fear high prices. Fear the moment sharks no longer want to spend money to push the price further. 4. Price is a lie, but volume is a confession. 5. Volume increases while the price stands still? That is the footstep of a thief fleeing with the assets.